was so nervous. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's your girl Rika Nadine, aka. Whew, y'all, I ain't been on here in a while. But what's poppin'? Oh, what's good? Oh, what it is? Oh, what's up? So y'all see the vibe, y'all see the little lights in the back or whatever. But we have a very special episode, and I'm super excited for this episode. Like I said, bear with your girl. I'm trying. Okay. So, first and foremost, I want to thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for tuning in. For those who will be watching the playback, listening to on radio, or be watching it on YouTube, make sure you take this time to smash that notification bell so you can be notified each and every time I upload a video. That was very fast, but we're gonna keep it pushing. Anyway, so for the drop of Jesus for this episode, it is James 5:12. But let your yes be yes and your no's be no. In Jesus' name. Leave it like that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm super excited for this guest. I really want to pace myself. I want to take time with this interview. Yeah. I want to take time with this interview. I'm excited. So yeah, so the guest we have today. Wait, I actually have my cup today, y'all. Look, I'm trying. I'm trying. So the guest we have today is Mr. Lamont Sanders, and I'm gonna read a little bit about his bio, and then we're gonna pop him in, okay? Because if you're ready, I'm ready. I've been ready. Period. So, Mr. Lamont Sanders is a star in the gospel music world, making a name for himself as an accomplished recording artist, R&B singer, and songwriter and instrumentalist. In 2022, marked the year of a momentum first for Mr. Lamont, starting with earning the #1 radio single on both Billboard Gospel Airplay and media-based gospel radio charts with his powerful song "He Kept Me." Listen to it. I'm okay. Never mind. Let me keep reading it before I give my opinion. He then went to perform on 2 high-profile shows, the Stellar Awards on BET and the Avidity Awards, where he took home 3 awards for Artists of the Year, Male Artist of the Year, and Song of the Year. He Kept Me. But today we're going to be talking about his song "I'm Blessed," which I'm super excited to know all the tea about. So without further ado, we have Mr. Lamont Sanders.
Wow, that was amazing.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm asking God to forgive me for accepting such a great introduction. I'm like, God, that was good, but forgive me. Thank you so much.
No problem. I try to work on it. I feel like when you introduce somebody, it really means a lot. And I think I got that growing up in the church. When they come, like a preacher comes to the church, they give that long bio, but it's like meaningful. I think I
Right.
got that from the church for
Well, I
sure.
appreciate it. I hope I don't, that felt so warm. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you. No problem. So let's jump right into it. Of course, you're from Jersey. So shout out to the people from Jersey. But I want to
Jersey.
get in. How did you start in music? I know you started on the R&B side, then came over to the gospel side. But give me the 411. Give me the tea.
Well, really, my mom and my dad. My mom was a choir director, and my dad was a church musician. So,
Mm,
in my whole family, I got a family like 30, and everybody sings.
wow.
So I come from a singing family,
Mm,
and music was basically everything for me. My mom directing the choir. Me growing up in elementary school, every 2 years she made me switch instruments. So I
mm,
played the trumpet, I played the sax, I played the drums. I played like every. She was like the female Ike Turner.
mm.
She was on me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, music was all I really knew.
Mm,
Music was my lifeline. So growing up, I kind of she had a Black History program that she did every year at the high school, and we would sing and do Negro spirituals and from the slavery days until the current time, whatever year that was.
mm,
And one particular year, Wanye from Boys to Men came to our high school to join the high school. He had left University of the Arts.
mm.
I'll say he left. I won't tell his story, but he
Right.
left he left the school, and he came to our school, and
Mm,
um, they had us battle at the flagpole.
mm,
We had a battle of like me and him, like almost like a fight. Everybody came out to school, and
mm.
the whole school was like out front, like but mind you, it was my school,
Mm-hmm.
and Boys to Men hadn't came out yet.
Okay.
So we battled. You know, he sang his song, I sang my song. So of course, because it was my school, everybody kind of gave me the, you know, the winner of the battle.
Right.
So that began actually he and I our relationship, and he actually put me down with somebody from Cool in the Gang. He put
Mm-hmm.
me down with their sons, and I started doing R&B.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really that really flagpole day changed everything for me, because then I
Mm-hmm.
started pursuing music as a profession. I never really thought you could make money singing. It just didn't click to me at that time.
Right.
2 months later, Motown Philly came out. Everybody like, oh, we gotta have a recount. You know, he
Right.
Motown Philly now. You know, I'm like, whoa, he won. Don't worry about it.
Right.
But by this time, I went on and pursued my R&B career, and later got signed to Babyface and Andre Harrell. So the music industry became, you know, my profession, what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
However, it just was a tug that kept tugging. I would be in the studio with Babyface, and he'd be like, "Yo, it's something about your voice."
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you're from the church, you know, when you got them old grandmothers is like, "Boy,
Right.
you better get that gift back over here."
Right.
But God allowed me to see so much over there. He allowed me, to experience a lot on that side of the industry, but
Mm-hmm.
never come out with the album, record the
Mm.
album, go on a couple tours, but never let the album drop.
Wow.
And even that, I now to this day consider that grace,
Mm.
because you know it's just hard over there. And when you get so much far out in that industry, it's hard to come back if you don't have nobody pulling you back. So God got my attention, and he was like, "Listen, I got something better for you. You need to come on home." So
Right.
I called my mom, my brothers and sisters. I'm like, "Listen, I'm coming home. I'm singing gospel. I'm not going back." So then I started a group with my brothers and sisters called Lamont Sanders in One Way, because
Okay.
for me it was one way. I'm not going. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Right.
And over time, just whether it was just different things through life. My sister became a youth pastor at her church, and I just, God just told me, listen, it's time for you to venture out on your own. I never wanted to go solo. Never. Even to this day, I know it's faith, because it's not something I want to do.
Mm.
When you go from a singing family, I used to direct my family choir, it's like 30 of us. And then
Mm.
when you go from your brothers and sisters, it's for you. You're still not by yourself.
Mm.
Sure enough, he done took me and like, this is what I'm going to do with you. And because I have been through so much, even when I did the R&B, a lot came with that lifestyle. So,
Mm.
I got in trouble with the law. All that became learning process, and
Mm.
it really has been my testimony now to talk to everyone about, you're not what you've done. You know what I'm saying? And God has so much greater for us to do. And I love not being a traditional church story. I was born and
Mm.
raised in the church, and that's all I know is God.
Right.
So so it's a whole other audience of people that I like to talk to, and God has for me to reach. So
Mm.
that's why when you hear he kept me, and when you hear I'm blessed, like, I got to keep in mind of who's listening. And
Mm.
even with the album now, we just backed the album up. I did like a couple songs, and I just deleted everything, because
Wow.
God has given me something new, and I'm gonna be intentional on this
Mm.
project.
I'm excited for the project. But
Thank
I
you.
have two questions, really, two in one. But I love how not only are you listening or aware of the audience that you're reaching, but you're aware that there's a message that needs to be in each and every song that's put out, and there's a timing for everything. And I love that. I like, a lot of artists aren't, they're strategic with like branding. Oh, I want to look this way on this, I want to look this way on this, but they're not strategic on like song placement, when to drop it, how to drop it, the message behind it. So I love that. So my question is, because you kind of were in both worlds, like the secular world and the gospel world, do you see huge difference like on the business side of the music industry with both of them?
Oh, all day, all day. I really wish I could get our community, the gospel community, to broaden our way
Mm.
of thinking, and our broaden how, it's greater things for us to do,
Mm.
but we're limited,
Mm.
because it's kind of like we get it late. We get it after the secular world, and if you ask me, it shouldn't be that way.
Mm.
He's the greatest. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So we're years behind from what the R&B world is doing. Like, they've been streaming for years. Now we're
Mm.
finally like, oh, streaming, like,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's really scary, but God, He has a plan. He has a
Mm.
plan. Our job is just, keep our ears to God's mouth and figure out what He wants us to do next. So,
Amen. I agree with that. So the song, you have amazing song titles, not only song titles, but live performances, music videos. Like I'm loving the content. So with your different songs, like He Kept Me, I want to talk about I'm Blessed specifically. So can you get into the writing process and what was going on in your life when you were writing and producing and singing and the whole shebang with I'm Blessed?
well, I got to be honest with you. God has blessed me with working with one of the greatest, if you ask me, one of the greatest anointed um, producers on this side of heaven, and that is none other than Fred Jurgens.
Shout out.
Um, Shout out to Uncle Freddie. Let me tell you, I had I had produced some records, and I sent him some records, thinking that this would be the next single.
Hmm.
I say I'm gonna sing you like 3 songs, and you pick. You let me know what you think is the next single. He tells me, be in Atlanta on Monday. We're gonna have a session on Monday.
Hmm.
Book your flight for Monday, and you're gonna leave out Tuesday. So it was really that fast of a turnaround of a session.
Hmm.
And the song is coming out that Friday, the same week.
Hmm.
I'm like, who does that in the same week? He's like,
Right.
we're going to do it. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, sounds good to me. So I go to Atlanta, and he has a team of people that's sitting in this room who, it's funny because they wrote the lyrics to I'm Blessed. I really can't take a lot of credit for that record, but where that record found me was a place that I had to remind myself that I
Hmm.
was blessed.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
had no idea with me
Absolutely.
recording the record what it was really doing for me.
Right.
Because if you go off of He Kept Me, so let me give you a spin off of He Kept Me. He Kept Me was a song that was so dear to me that I wanted to put out in 2019. I
Hmm.
didn't put it out because my testimony about He Kept Me was God keeping me from the R&B world, and He allowed me to get back. That's what I thought.
Hmm. Okay.
2020, I lost my brother to COVID, the first 4,000.
Wow.
So now the word He Kept Me has a totally different meaning.
Hmm.
You follow me? I'm
Hmm.
like,
I do.
wow, it's a whole nother level that him keeping me. It wasn't just your little shallow way of thinking that, I was on my way to hell, I was dying, and God saved me. That
Right.
that he did that too.
Right.
But when you lose a sibling to this virus, when I tell you, and especially a younger brother, I couldn't do nothing for him. I couldn't save my younger brother.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that was something. It did something that there was, it hurt me. It broke
Hmm.
me, and I didn't even want to do music anymore.
Hmm.
So when I
Wow.
started singing the words, He kept me, He kept me, He kept me, it started to resonate something huge. And it became my testimony.
Hmm.
18 months later, my mom passed.
Wow.
My sister's like, can you stop telling people God kept you? I'm like,
Right.
because He is though.
Right.
But he's a keeper. He's a
Right.
keeper. You know what I'm saying? And and
Hmm.
and going through that, both of those tragic incidents in this short period of time,
Hmm.
I need to be reminded I'm still blessed.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was like,
Right.
okay, yeah, He kept you. And how long is that gonna go on? He's gonna keep you forever. But
Right.
on top of Him keeping you, I need to tell people I'm blessed.
Hmm.
I'm rocking with the best. I'm blessed. Like it gets no better than God.
Right. Amen.
So I'm a God dealer, if you ask me.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm selling people God. Like this is what it is. I've been through this, I've been through that, I've been hurt, I've been broken. But if you get God, man, listen, that's all you need.
Right. I agree. Factual. I think like Pastor Thomas B's comment, I think He Kept Me was more of a very inspirational, a very pulled through type of song. And then I'm Blessed is more of a like a chant, like I know that I'm blessed no matter what I'm going through in this season. I know that I'm blessed. So
Right, right,
I
right, right.
thank you like for just putting out music that's meaningful. Like I said, I've listened to a lot of artists, And I don't know, there's just something different when you listen to this man of God's music. But let me backtrack because I want to be real nosy real quick. So you have such a soulful voice, such a soulful sound. Like, do you do vocal training? Do you drink a special tea? I need the tea.
That's funny. Interesting enough, a lot of people don't ask this question, but I grew up with two, as you would, I guess you would say, people who I wanted to sound like,
Hmm.
and one was Luther Vandross
Okay, I can see that.
and John P. Key.
Okay, don't be
So
key.
people, if you're not going to normally put them two together, it's not really
True.
going to. So, so that's just how I, kind of honed in on my vocal ability. It was like, I really want to, I love Pastor Key.
Mhm.
That's like, that's Pastor John P. Key. Like, come on,
Right.
like let's show up, and that's everything. But Luther was, I thought I was Luther in high school.
Hmm.
I did a lot of high school talent shows and high school shows. So, dum,
Okay.
dum, 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 dum. You couldn't tell me I wasn't Luther.
Right.
So, yeah. So when I walked into myself, I became, to be that, try to put those vocals together and have a
Mm,
mixture and a blend. And of course, like, the R&B teaching, for years, I believe, um, I was able to just be a gospel artist in an R&B world, if that makes
mm,
sense. You're born and raised in church, so you know how to do the church crowd, you know how to,
right.
so now I come back over here and it's like, church crowd? No, just kind of give them the story. And
Mm,
sometimes you can't hear the story in the church crowd. You need to
come
hear the
on.
story just kind of given to you, like, listen, there are times when I wanted to give up on you. You know what I'm saying? I
Take us
believe you were
there.
there, but I couldn't feel you.
Come
Just give
on.
the story. You know what I'm saying? Just
Mm.
let people know. You never left me. Not, you never left me.
Come on.
So
For
just
real
want to
though.
give people, something they can hear, listen to, and,
Right.
and, and something that can resonate, and something that can be conviction. That's what
Mm,
I'm intentional on people really hearing what the lyric content is really meaning.
mm. And that we do for sure. I was watching some of your videos. Like I said, I love your content. I was being mad nosy today, especially once the interview was confirmed. I was like, let me be nosy. Let me go see. So I've been watching like a lot of your videos. And one thing I want to say, like, there's some people who like come from the secular side to the gospel side, and like you can tell like they've been taught like performance, you've been taught how to entertain, but when I see you like perform, I don't see an entertainer, if that makes sense. I see ministry, I see a calling, and that's very unique. So like I know branding's very important, especially in this industry. So is there a specific like branding strategy that you use for, singles or your release music videos, things of that nature?
There really isn't.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I'm taking a chance, not a chance, but I'm trusting God enough to brand me.
Mm,
I'm really not trying to do as we think. You need this many followers. You need it.
mm,
I'm really just trusting God. I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody gives me any type of suggestion, any type of, information, I definitely take it. At the end
mm,
of the day, I'm like, okay, God, what are you going to do? Because
mm.
I really, when you've been in that limelight, and not like limelight like I blew up like I was Rihanna or somebody, but
Right.
when you see people blow up every day, and then you start asking God, what's the difference? He's like, I'm the difference.
Mm,
But I need you to remember that I'm the difference.
mm,
So don't follow what everybody else is doing. Do what I called you to do. He said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw all men. So
come
my
on.
my job is to just have him lifted.
Mm,
Just really get him lifted. So it's funny because I'm an artist when it comes to work ethic.
mm.
I will
Okay.
rehearse, I will rehearse, I will rehearse. But when I step on anybody's stage, I ask God to remove me
Mm,
and have his way. I've
come on.
had musicians get mad at me. I get on stage and God gives me a hymn.
Mm.
And they're like, what happened to the 30-minute set? We like, because I have to yield to what he's giving. Like, I just have to,
Mm.
because if not, it won't flow right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to me, what you see on stage is like, I'm giving you what I rehearsed, but I'm allowing him to be him. There's times he takes over and I'm like, oh my God, that was horrible. And people are like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it wasn't, I didn't get to do the run I wanted. No, because you allowed God to do him.
Right.
And as long as people are blessed, that's my job. Go sit down somewhere and boy, you'll be all right. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
You can do that another day.
yeah, do that on the way home. You'll be all right.
Right. There's so much. Okay, so where do I want to go? So with your performances, is there like a special like routine? Like I know I was watching this one documentary and they were like, "Oh, before I go on the stage, I eat an apple." Like, I don't know, it just feels like it cleanses me on the inside. I'm like, it's weird, but I mean, whatever floats your boat. So is there a special routine that you do before performing, ministering?
Um, my quiet time,
Mm,
the day of, is very, very important to me.
mm,
I don't really do a lot of talking. I try to be quiet so I can hear God.
mm,
Definitely hear what He wants to do,
mm.
because it could be a shift that takes place. But vocally, just of recent, I started eating Lay's potato chips before I sing,
Okay, interesting.
and I heard that the saliva helps your pipes
Okay.
as far as lubrication is concerned, the salt from it.
Mm.
So I'm actually walking on stage with the little bag and I'm busting it open. I'm like,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay. And I've
Okay.
learned, and it's really been keeping, me open. And I'm like, wow. So that's my new thing, besides your
Mhm.
normal throat coat and ginger and honey,
Right.
no lemon, no acid that day, no orange
Okay.
juice, no lemon, no, because I mean, the acid is horrible for your voice.
Mm.
So when we used to drink tea all the back in the day, tea's not good, so
Okay.
little things like that. But I try my best to stay under control. But when God gets in, I'm telling you, I just lose all type of vocal control, and I start
Mm.
going, and it just becomes what it is He wants it to be. So,
Mm.
and I'm okay with that, as long as it's in His word, in His will and His word. You know what I'm
Right. Hallelujah.
saying?
Lay's chips. That is interesting. Literally, somebody better screen record that part because you just gave a gem to somebody for sure.
Yeah,
Lay's
I just
chips.
learned that in the last 2 months. Like, that's my
Wow.
new thing, right?
Okay. Okay, so say somebody's listening to you or watching you right now, and they're like, I want to do music. I want to get into music. I want to do gospel music. I want to do this. I want to do this. But they don't really know what to do and how to go about it. What advice would you give them?
Um, the Bible says, "Study to show thyself approved."
Come on.
So you have to study your craft. You got to
Mhm.
study what it is that you want to do. It's just not, oh, baby can sing, and you get up and start singing. It's so
Mhm.
much to study behind this, and that's being a singer. Now, if God called you to minister, then that's something you and God need to, just make sure that that's what He called you to do, because there's a difference.
Right.
People. I'm not ashamed to say it. I walked away from a record deal from Def Jam a couple
Mhm.
years ago. They offered me $100,000, and at that moment, I was reading Proverbs.
Mhm.
And he said he'd rather us be poor and honest than rich and
Mhm.
dishonest.
Come on.
And I remember the buddy I was singing with. He was like, "Man, let's get this money, man. And then after that, you can lead a label. People do all the time. They sign and they leave."
All
I'm
right.
like, nah. Proverbs was tearing me up.
Mm.
It was tearing me up. So I'm like, nah, I'm good. So when people ask me, especially my testimony over here, I'm not in gospel industry for money.
Hmm. Come.
I could have stayed over there for money, like that,
Right.
and if you ask me, and I'm not judging nobody else, but I just know what works for me
Mm.
is that if I did it for the money, I could have stayed somewhere else. But I'm not here for the money. I'm here to let people know that He's on His way back, and it's about a relationship. I've been over there and been ostracized from the gospel community.
Mm.
I want you to hear me. Ostracized, which means the church people ostracizing you because you sing this, or because you dress this way, because you look this way. What happened to the love? Like if you love on somebody, you love them enough. My mom used to say, apply more love. Well, mom, that didn't work. Guess what? Apply more love. So my point is, once you apply love to people, and you win them, then God will convict them and make them dress differently or talk differently or walk. That's not our job.
Right.
But to ostracize somebody is like horrible. Like, as a body of Christ, like, I'm not even going to say how embarrassed I am. I'm going to just do something different about it. I'm going to present music and love to people who normally wouldn't get that type of music and love. You know what I'm saying? So really, honestly, I'm not here to sing our traditional church music. We all been doing that all our lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even here to even sing in the church. Everybody over there saved already, right?
Right.
I ain't say that. I'm sorry.
Right. Come on. Come on, talk about it.
But no, real talk. Like my mission is just souls, because that's really what it's about. It's about winning souls and let people know that you got to have a real relationship between you and God. This is not no clique. This is not churchy. This is not tradition. It's not religion. This is about having a real relationship between you and God, and that He's my judge. I promise you, Nene, I'm telling you, like, you're gonna get in how you get in. It's you and God rocking out. You know what I'm saying? Right. I can't tell you, well, you know what, your mic was too shiny, so you ain't like what? Right. Are you serious?
Right.
God told you to rock that mic, rock the mic. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're good.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love that. And I literally, like, I was talking the other day with somebody, and I'm like, if the Bible says come as you are, if all she has is a mini skirt, why are we judging her?
Right. The problem is you're convicted by the mini skirt. And why?
Right.
Why? How are you looking at her with the mini skirt?
Right.
That means you need more oil in your eyes.
Right. Go get baptized again.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's good. That's a good point. Where do I want to go? There's so many ways I can go. That was so good. I think sometimes as a church, we just I don't know. I'm gonna just leave that alone. Like even with this last, the Grammys thing, I'm just like, goodness, like they still talk after the Super Bowl. We still talking about the Grammys and about Maverick City being on the stage or not. I'm just like, okay, there are more important things right now. And Jesus didn't technically preach among the Pharisees and Sadducees. He was with the prostitutes. He was with the drug dealers.
Right.
So, but anyway, that's very much besides the point.
But we're not even going to talk about the murmuring that people are doing. It's in the Bible, that murmuring, that the rumors and complaining about something that God is. He's the ultimate.
Come on.
You're so powerful, just pray. Just pray. If you're so powerful, just go pray. That's all I ask you to do. If you're concerned about Maverick City and it, go pray. And prayerfully, your prayers hit heaven.
Or the ceiling.
We got to do better. We got to do better. I'm serious. I mean that for real.
We do. So, what is something? How do I want to say this? What is when thoughts consume you and your workload is like there's a lot on your plate? What do you do to keep yourself motivated to keep pushing?
Honestly, and not. It's funny we just said it. Pray. My pastor. Shout out to my pastor Darius Daniels, Change Church. We've been talking about prayer. Well, he's been talking about the cheat code, which is prayer. And it's sometimes that we just haven't been taught how to pray. We watched so many people pray at church that we thought that the prayers that Deacon so-and-so was praying back in the day, we would go home with them same prayers. People would tell you how to pray, but not tell you how to pray. You know what I'm saying? And now we got into specifics of asking God, of course, with forgiveness and supplication and things of that nature, but you still have to know to be specific of your prayer. So lately, when things have been burdening me down, I'm like, God, I need you to lift this burden. I'm speaking it. I need you to lift this burden. I don't want to feel this heavy.
Come on.
And as I'm speaking it, I can feel him lifting the burden. My biggest thing I've been asking for lately is wisdom. Give me wisdom on everything.
Come on.
on how to raise my kids, on how to be a better man, on how to do this project.
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the first time in a long time I've sat back and waited to even work on the project. It
Mm.
was always I was always on a clock. It was always a clock. Like, you got to get this done. We got a deadline. I'm actually sitting here like, and I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe he has a plan.
Mm.
So prayer is everything. Prayer is the key. It's the cheat code.
Period. Period, Pooh.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were a father. Like, how do you manage like full-time music and being a father?
Oh wow. That is my that's one of my prayers. Daily. Daily I ask God, because the assignment and the charge he gave me for raising two boys at that,
Ooh, come on. Talk
you
about
know, I take it seriously, because not only because they're my sons, but because of how I came up.
that.
My
Mhm.
mom, my dad did what they could do, and I was a handful. So I feel like God's like, listen, all right, so this is what I'm gonna do for you.
Right.
I'm gonna send you not one but two, and I'm gonna see how you pulled it. So I take that assignment very seriously.
Mm.
I have one who is in his last part of the sixth grade year. So we're
Okay.
talking. If you remember sixth grade, we're talking the little girls, and
Right.
so now I'm going to him like, listen, son. Oh well, she likes me, and she no. I need one to like you.
Right.
It's not cute with two and three. See, that's what we
Mm.
started getting it. We started hearing that it was cute having
Right.
more than one. And then you
Mm.
go into manhood, nobody ever tells you where to cut that off.
Right.
And you still stuck with two or three. And then you want to, well, they dogs because y'all thought it was cute. It ain't cute.
Right.
Tell me how to raise that man now. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So be honest, son. If you don't like her, let her know.
Mm.
Even though I don't agree with none of it in sixth grade, but I got to kind of meet him where he is. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
he can, have a conversation. So I don't want him to shut down on me. I don't want him to be
Mm.
sneaky about it.
Right.
So I try to meet him, where he is.
That's a
So
key
thank you,
thing.
bro.
Meeting the child where they are. And if we think of it the biblical way, God meeting us where we are. We may not
Mm,
be in the mindset of, oh, trusting God all the time. I think sometimes as a church we put trust God, trust God, trust God. And we know there's those moments where we're not trusting him at all. And we're like, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta duck and dodge, I gotta make this plan, I gotta make this happen, this happen. And we're not really trusting God. So
right,
yeah, that was a
right.
good
Lean not to thy own understanding,
come on, Pastor.
but in a few ways, or in all thy ways acknowledge
Come
him, and
on.
he shall direct your path.
Come on.
So yeah, you said that. That's good. We got to trust him in everything. In
Come on.
everything.
Come on. So this was so good. I don't even want to end it, but this was so good. I just
Oh, thank
remembered.
you.
I remember seeing you at the Stellars. Oh my goodness! But I remember seeing you at the Stellars this past year. Oh my goodness! I didn't even place two and two until my mom pointed it out in the comments. I remember seeing you, like you doing your thing out there,
Thank you
and
so
you was
much.
just like, and like you were like there was artists that came and that I mean there's artists that came, did what they needed to do, and then there was those artists who stood and was like, yeah, I may be tired, I may just perform, I may have did this, but let me be humble in this moment and talk to the media, because these are the people pushing your music. So I
Right, right.
appreciate that moment that we had with you in the media room, on the red carpet, all the little moments that you had. I appreciate the
Yes, I
humbleness.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy. I forgot. But I want to thank you. That was, like I said, that meant a lot coming from someone who's newly, in media, young, trying to do my thing out here. So thank you.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, without you guys, there's no us. Like, it's so important. I thank you for your platform. I thank you for, just be willing to do this, in the way you do it. Like, and especially, I feel something different.
Hmm.
So you're gonna be all right. I feel something different. I appreciate your
Oh,
energy. Your spirit is nice. That's good.
thank you.
God got something big for you. That's what's up.
Thank you. So I want to thank you so much, Mr. Lamont Sanders, for coming on. Make sure you guys go stream his music right now. Go follow him on social media. I'm telling y'all, this man of God, like I said, I don't just bring anybody on the platform. I'm kind of picky, like I am with my food.
I appreciate it.
So if he's on the show, you know he's legit. So make sure you go check out this man of God on everywhere you can see visually, hear audibly. Check him out. I'm telling you, he's gonna bless your life. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Oh man, I just want to let everybody know. Listen, what God says about you
Mm,
has to come to pass.
mm,
Don't believe the negative thoughts. Don't believe what people try to put on you. Don't believe what people speak. If God be for you, who could be against you? Everything
come.
God says about you He said it about you first.
Mm,
The problem is we got to catch up to what He said.
mm,
He it's written already. And a lot of times we go through a lot of storms and trials and tribulations and life and people and people and people. We gotta get delivered from people
come
so we
on.
can appreciate what God is doing in our life. Being alone is not lonely if you have God.
Can you say that again for the choir in the back?
Being alone is not lonely if you have God.
Come on. That
Yeah. So
that's good. So yeah. Also, if you're listening audibly for radio podcast, the next song you'll be listening to is I'm Blessed by Mr. Lamont Sanders. Until next time, remember nobody can be you but you, so be the best version of you. And that's on period poo. Love you guys.
that's good. It's dope. Oh, we back.